Let me tell you something that might be hard to hear, but I promise it's going to change the way you look at your body, your health, and frankly, your whole life after 60. My name is Dr. Claire Weston, and for over 20 years I've been practicing medicine right here in the States, working with men just like you. Men in their 60s, 70s, even their 80s, who walk into my office carrying a weight they don't talk about at the coffee shop at church, or even with their own wives. They sit down, they clear their throat 2 or 3 times, and eventually they tell me something's not working the way it used to. And every single time, I want you to know something. You're not alone and it's not your fault. But here's the part that might surprise you. A lot of what's going wrong down there isn't because you're getting older. It's because of habits you've been practicing for 40, 50, sometimes 60 years without even realizing they were hurting you. Today, I'm going to walk you through the silent mistakes I see men over 60 making every single day. These aren't complicated medical problems that need surgery or fancy prescriptions. These are things happening in the privacy of your own bathroom, your own bedroom, your own quiet moments that are slowly choking off the blood flow, dulling your nerves and robbing you of something that belongs to you, your vitality, your confidence, your identity as a man. And before anyone tunes out because they think this is just another lecture, let me tell you about a patient of mine. I'll call him Robert. Robert came into my office about 3 years ago. He was 68, retired from a long career in construction, lived up in the Midwest, had 4 grandkids and a good marriage, but he sat across from me and told me he hadn't felt like himself in almost a decade. He said he'd stopped sleeping through the night. He said his wife had stopped reaching for him, and honestly, he'd stopped reaching for her too. He said he felt like a stranger in his own body, and when I asked him about his private habits, the things he did alone, he got real quiet, and then he told me, and I want you to listen carefully because what Robert was doing, a lot of you are doing right now. The first mistake I see constantly is what I call unconscious self-stimulation. Now, I know that's a clinical phrase, so let me put it in plain English. It's the habit of rushing. It's treating your body like a chore, something to get done and over with. It's doing it mechanically, fast, gripping too hard, staring at a screen, disconnected from your own breath, your own skin, your own feelings. Most men were never taught anything different. You grew up in a time when nobody talked about this. Your parents didn't talk about it. Your doctors didn't talk about it. The church, if you were raised in one, probably told you it was shameful or dirty. So you learned to do it quickly and get it over with, and you've been doing it that way since you were a teenager. Here's the problem. When you train your body for decades to respond only to rough, fast, mechanical stimulation, you're literally rewiring your nervous system. Your nerves stop responding to gentler, more natural sensations, the kind of sensations that happen during intimacy with a partner. Your blood vessels, especially the tiny ones that feed the intimate tissues, start to lose their ability to dilate properly. The signal from your brain to your body gets weaker and weaker. And then one day, usually around your early 60s, you notice things aren't working the way they used to, and you blame it on age. But age isn't the villain here. Decades of unconscious habits are. And I want to be clear about something, because I've had patients misunderstand me. I am not telling you to stop. I am not telling you there's anything wrong with taking care of yourself. I've been practicing medicine for over 20 years, and I can tell you the research is clear. Regular, healthy self-care is actually good for your circulation, your prostate health, your mood, and even your sleep. What I'm telling you is that how you do it matters just as much as whether you do it. The second mistake is something that might be even more dangerous because it's so common and so accepted that nobody ever questions it. It's the habit of using these moments to escape, to check out, to numb yourself from stress, boredom, loneliness, or feelings you don't want to feel. I had another patient, I'll call him Frank. Frank was 72, a widower, lived alone out in the suburbs. He came to me describing this heavy feeling in his pelvis, a dull ache, a sense of pressure that just wouldn't go away. He figured it was just part of getting old. He'd been through enough in life, buried his wife, retired from his job, watched his kids move across the country, and he figured his body was just wearing down. But as we talked, Frank admitted that almost every night he was using self-stimulation as a way to fall asleep, to stop thinking, to make the loneliness quiet down for an hour or two. He wasn't enjoying it. He wasn't even really present for it. He was using it like some people use a glass of whiskey or a sleeping pill, and his body was paying the price. The constant, disconnected, emotionally empty repetition was creating inflammation, congestion, and nerve fatigue in his pelvic region. His symptoms weren't just old age. They were a direct message from his body saying, please stop treating me this way. And this is where I have to speak honestly with all of you, because I think a lot of men are going to recognize themselves in Frank's story. If you're using these private moments to run away from something, the grief of losing a spouse, the frustration of retirement, the fear of getting older, the quiet shame that your generation was raised to carry, your body knows. Your body always knows. And eventually, it sends you the bill. Now, some of you might be wondering, what does this have to do with circulation? Let me explain. When you engage in any intimate activity in a state of stress, shame, or emotional disconnection, your body stays in what we call sympathetic mode. That's the fight or flight state. In that state, blood vessels constrict. Blood flow to the extremities, including the intimate regions, is reduced. Your heart rate goes up, your breathing gets shallow, and your body pulls resources away from reproduction and pleasure because it thinks you're in danger. Now, imagine doing this 3, 4, 5 times a week for 40 or 50 years. What do you think happens to those blood vessels? They lose their flexibility, they narrow, they become less responsive. The nerves that depend on that healthy blood flow start to wither. And slowly, quietly, without a single doctor visit or warning sign, you lose your intimate function. Not because of age, because of accumulated damage. The third mistake I see, and this one is huge, is the complete absence of what I call natural release. Now, someone in the comments of my last video asked me, Dr. Weston, what do you mean by natural release? Great question. I'll explain it simply. Natural release is when your body, in a relaxed and connected state, experiences the full wave of pleasure, tension buildup, and complete letting go in a way that activates your parasympathetic nervous system. That's the rest and digest state. That's the healing state. That's the state where your blood vessels open up, your nerves calm down, and your body actually repairs itself. Most men over 60 haven't experienced a true natural release in years, maybe decades. What they're experiencing instead is a quick, mechanical, stress-driven event that looks like release on the outside, but doesn't give the body any of the healing benefits. And here's how you can tell the difference. After a true natural release, you feel calm, clear-headed, warm, and connected to your body. After a mechanical release, you often feel tired, foggy, a little empty, maybe even guilty. If that second description sounds familiar, you've been cheating yourself for years. So let's talk about what to do about all of this, because I'm not here just to tell you what's wrong. I'm here to help you fix it. And the good news, the really good news that I want every single one of you to hear, is that your nervous system can be restored. Your blood vessels can regain flexibility. Your nerves can wake up again. It takes awareness, patience, and a new way of understanding your own body, but it absolutely can be done. I've seen it happen hundreds of times in my practice. First thing, slow down. I cannot say this strongly enough. Whatever you've been doing for the last 50 years, cut the speed in half. Then cut it in half again. Your body needs time to reconnect with sensation. When you rush, you're basically telling your nervous system that this is an emergency. When you slow down, you're telling it that it's safe. And in that state of safety, your blood flow improves, your nerves resensitize, and you start to experience pleasure you didn't even know you'd lost. Second thing, breathe. Most men hold their breath during intimate moments. You've probably been doing it since you were 15 years old and you never noticed. Holding your breath keeps you in that fight or flight state we talked about. Deep, slow belly breathing activates the parasympathetic system. Try this. Breathe in through your nose for a count of 4. Hold for 2. Breathe out through your mouth for a count of 6. Do that for a couple of minutes before and during. You'll be amazed at the difference. Third thing, put the screen away. I know this is the hard one. But the visual stimulation many men rely on is actually one of the biggest culprits in this whole problem. It trains your brain to need more and more intense stimulation to respond. It disconnects you from your own body. It puts you back in that mechanical, rushed state. I'm not going to lecture anybody about morality. I'm a doctor, not a preacher. But medically speaking, if you want your intimate function back, you have got to learn to reconnect with your body without the screen. Fourth thing, and this is one a lot of you asked about, let's talk about food. Because what you eat directly affects your circulation, and your circulation directly affects everything we've been discussing. There's a reason so many of my patients have seen improvements by adding certain foods to their diet. Fruits rich in antioxidants and natural compounds that support blood vessel health are incredibly powerful. Mangoes, for instance, are wonderful. So are pomegranates, watermelon, dark berries like blueberries and blackberries, and citrus fruits. Leafy greens like spinach and arugula help your body produce nitric oxide, which is essential for healthy blood flow. Beets are another one I recommend constantly. Nuts, especially walnuts and almonds, fatty fish like salmon. And yes, for those of you asking, you can absolutely combine these in your daily diet. In fact, I encourage it. A handful of berries with breakfast, a green salad at lunch, a piece of salmon with some beet salad at dinner. That's a circulation supporting day, and your body will thank you for it within weeks. Fifth thing, frequency matters, and I know some of you were surprised when I mentioned numbers in the past. Research has shown that men who experience healthy release around 21 times a month have significantly lower rates of certain prostate issues compared to men who have very infrequent release. Now, let me be clear about that number. It's an average from a large population study. It doesn't mean you need to hit that target every month. What it tells us is that regular, healthy intimate activity is protective, not harmful. Whether that happens with a partner or alone, whether it's more or less than that number, what matters is that it's consensual, it's mindful, and it's connected to your actual body and feelings. Sixth thing, and this one is maybe the most important, address the shame. I know a lot of you were raised in households or churches or communities where this topic was taboo. I had someone tell me recently that when he was 13 years old, he was taken to a spiritual retreat where he was told that self-care was dirty, shameful, and that if he kept doing it, he would wear his body out. He carried that shame for 55 years. And let me tell you something plainly. That is not medicine. That is not science. That is a lie that has done enormous damage to generations of men. Your body is yours. It's a gift. Taking care of it, understanding it, and respecting it is one of the healthiest things you can do. If you carry shame around this topic, I want you to set it down today. It doesn't belong to you. It never did. Now, I want to talk specifically about how to maintain firm erections after 60, because that question comes up constantly and it deserves a direct answer. Everything I've just talked about plays into it, but let me give you the specific actions. 1. Move your body daily. Walking 30 minutes a day does more for your circulation than almost any pill. 2. Get your sleep. 7 to 8 hours and no screens in the bedroom for the hour before bed. 3. Manage your stress. Chronic stress floods your body with cortisol, which directly suppresses testosterone and constricts blood vessels. 4. Check in with your doctor about your blood pressure, your cholesterol, and your blood sugar, because these 3 things are the biggest medical culprits in declining intimate function in men over 60. 5. Stay hydrated. Most older men are chronically dehydrated, and dehydration directly reduces blood volume and circulation. 6. Limit alcohol to 1 or 2 drinks a day at most, and ideally less. And I want to come back to Robert for a moment, because I promised I'd tell you what happened to him. Robert listened to all of this. He slowed down. He started breathing. He started eating better. He started walking every morning with his wife. And within about 4 months, he came back to my office and he looked 15 years younger. He was sleeping through the night. His energy was back. His relationship with his wife had transformed, not just intimately, but emotionally. He told me he felt like himself again for the first time in a decade, and that more than any prescription I've ever written is what I want for every single one of you. Before I wrap up, I want to address a couple more questions I've gotten. Someone asked whether any of this applies to women too. The answer is yes, absolutely. Women experience many of the same issues around circulation, nervous system dysregulation, and emotional disconnection, and I'm going to be doing a full video dedicated to women over 60 very soon. So if you've got a wife, a sister, a daughter, or a friend who might benefit, stay tuned. Someone else asked about combining all these foods and habits at once. Yes, you can. None of this is medication. You're just giving your body the building blocks it needs. Start with 1 or 2 changes, get comfortable with them, and then add more. And to the gentleman who told me I talk too much and asked me to summarize, I hear you, and I respect that. So here's your summary. Slow down. breathe. Put the screen away. Eat fruits and vegetables that support blood flow. Move your body every day. Sleep well. Manage your stress. Let go of shame and treat your body like the gift it is, not a chore to get over with. What I want all of you to understand more than anything else today is that what you're going through isn't the end of something. It's an invitation to a new chapter. The years after 60 can be some of the richest, most connected, most pleasurable years of your entire life, but only if you stop running on autopilot. Only if you start treating your body with the awareness and respect it deserves. This isn't just about the bedroom. It's about your soul. It's about who you are as a man, as a husband, as a father, as a grandfather, as a human being walking through the second half of your life. I've seen men in their 80s come alive again when they finally understood what I've shared with you today. I've seen marriages saved. I've seen depression lifted. I've seen men who thought their best days were behind them discover that they were actually just getting started. So here's what I want you to do. Take one thing from this video, just one, and commit to it this week. Maybe it's the breathing. Maybe it's adding berries to your breakfast. Maybe it's taking a walk every morning. Maybe it's putting the screen away. Whatever it is, start there and let that one change open the door to the next one. Your body has been carrying you for 6, 7, 8 decades. It's done a lot of work. It's earned your attention. It's earned your respect. And it's absolutely capable of healing, thriving, and giving you pleasure and vitality for many more years to come, if you're willing to listen to it. If this video helped you, I want to hear from you in the comments. Tell me where you're watching from. Tell me what resonated. Tell me what questions you still have, because I read every single one, and I make my next videos based on what you ask. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the upcoming video for women and the deeper dive I'm doing on foods for men's circulation. You're not too old. You're not broken. You're not beyond help. You're a man with a body that's waiting to be heard. Listen to it. Take care of it. And I promise you, the next chapter of your life can be better than you ever imagined. Thank you for spending this time with me. Take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.